So I think most golfers are hyper aware that if they can create a good swing path, it gives them the best chance of hitting their perfect golf shot. Now, even though my club path there was 0, so absolutely perfectly straight through the bottom, didn't give me an exactly straight shot, because that comes down to how good that club face is. But I think most golfers are very aware, like I said, that their swing path probably isn't 0 and is more likely to be out to in, which on TrackMan will be a minus number. We can see there nearly 11 degrees left, and that ball curving horribly over to the right. So today's video is all about how just adjusting that ball position a little bit can absolutely transform your path, probably where you get the club face at impact, and get you hitting the ball much more accurately than normal. So I always think using an alignment stick can be a great little way of just confirming your ball position. So if I were to get, and I've got 7-iron in my hand, the ball to be just nicely in the centre of my stance and make my normal swing, I can see nowadays I get a very, very neutral path there, 0.6 degrees from the inside, and that little fade generally is my stock shot nowadays. So, obviously the thing with the golf swing is a lot of people look down the line and look for this angle, but this is just the angle of the plane, not necessarily the direction the club's moving at impact with the golf ball. So we can see I'm very, very neutral there. So if I were to then move my ball position much further forward in my stance and just make the exact same swing, we can then see my club path is 9 degrees from out to in, so minus 8.6. And that was just simply moving the ball forward. So then if I do the opposite, I'm sure you can guess what's going to come. If I put the ball much further back in my stance, even though the strike was a little bit thin, we can see that path was 3 degrees from the inside. And that's all due to the fact that the ball position is about where that golf ball is in the arc of the swing. So you can see as that club's coming in, the further back the ball, the earlier in the arc I'm going to catch the ball. Then it's going to come back to straight, and then it's going to start working left or out to in. So it's a huge mistake I see a lot of golfers make, and I'm not saying that a lot of golfers don't make this movement anyway. But a lot of the time golfers get the ball too far forward in the stance. So if you are one of those golfers who fades the ball, my initial thing would be just try moving the ball a little further back than normal and then make some swings. Feel like you're going to be touching the ground just ahead of the golf ball still. Because if you're going this way, you'll be way out in front and there's no chance of touching the ball. So move that ball a little bit back just as a practice drill. And if you are someone that's out to in, suddenly you might start seeing the ball curve the other way. Now, yes, there's also down to club face here, but this is just about, can we move the ball into a part of the golf swing where we're going to collect the ball better to take care of that path. So a great example would be the way I used to swing the golf club. I would have still had the ball very, very central, but kind of big swingy draws, and certainly seeing it 6 degrees from the inside wouldn't have been bad at all for me. But I tended to find that when I was very inside, kind of a lot of thin ones, maybe the odd fat one. So actually the way I fixed that initially was to move that ball a little bit further forward, knowing that if I made my old movement, I could never get the club on the ball. So it actually made me change my swing a little bit, but by moving it further forward in the arc, straight away I started shaping the ball less. And definitely for me, I'm very fortunate I've got TrackMan to practice on. I quite like seeing a path that's just very, very slightly left. But like I said, for a lot of you golfers who slice the ball, move that back, even if it means having a few little practice swings, because you can't be coming in here because you'll touch way ahead. So however you go back, you're going to come in, start touching the ground better, start learning that feeling, ball slightly behind, and it really will change the way you deliver that club. We can see 4 degrees from the inside. Now, not all of you watching though are slicers. Some of you, be like I used to be, big swingy draws, we may even call those hooks. That's where for you, you want to move that ball forward so that if you're getting from the inside, you'll be back here. It's going to get you a bit further around the arc, make you swing a bit straighter. And very much like I used to see, suddenly you might even start seeing it curve a little bit left to right. And we can see there the path 4 degrees out to in. So I think it can be a great little practice drill that instead of focusing so much on being perfect or so-called perfect here on the way down, play around with that ball position. Start with it in the middle, hit somewhere it's further forward, hit somewhere it's further back, and start paying attention to what the ball's doing. I mean, the shape is obviously the face relative to the path. But if you are somebody who's always swung out to in, don't mind that ball being a little further back and you getting that feel. But just by playing around, once you're consistent with your swing as well, it's great for me knowing that if I want to draw in a little bit more, I could just nudge the ball back, make my usual swing. I know I'm going to catch the ball a little bit earlier in the arc. There we are, 5 degrees from the inside, and that one curving back to target. If I want to hit that fade, I can just move the ball a little further forward in the stance. Make what feels like my normal swing, and we can see slightly out to in, and again curving back to target. And even though I never try and do this shot, if I was going for that 0.0, which I know I produced at the start, but I never really try that ball position somewhere in between. And we definitely didn't see that with the path. But again, for me, I like seeing that minus number. But never be afraid if you're trying to fix your path, just have that understanding of where the golf ball is in the arc. You can move that ball position around, extreme to begin with, but slightly less so as you fine tune. And you really can make some massive changes to your golf swing, but by doing it all at setup.